So this video is just supposed to show you some indie games I've played more or less recently and I wanted to recommend. Also, this is my first time doing a video with a script, so I probably sound a little bit nervous sometimes. So this was a game where I always kinda expected I would like it, but never actually played it until last year or so. And man, it was great. The music is awesome, the characters are fun and likable, and the game's aesthetic is really wholesome while also being really detailed. Gameplay wise, it's a 3D platformer. You have different worlds with their own levels, in which you need to collect a glowing hourglass at the end of each level. The level itself is always set in the world you play in, so the overall map you play on is the same for each level in one world. Well, most of the time. There might be little changes to the map as you progress, however. Overall, it's nearly a perfect experience. If the devs didn't decide to make a challenge mode at the end that will break you if you try to 100% it. Also, if you think about playing it yourself, I highly recommend buying the DLCs because they have the best worlds in the game. Seal the Deal and especially Yakuza Metro are both worth their money. Voices of the Void is a survival sandbox game in which you decrypt signals from outer space while being irritated by some rectums. The game's story lasts about 40 to 50 in-game days at the moment. With one day being 75 minutes in normal mode, that would mean the story is about 20 to 30 hours long if you'd sleep half the day. I think it's really best if you go relatively blind in this game and only look stuff up once you don't know what to do, or things get boring. The game gets frequently updated even though it's in pretty early development stage, it's like pre-alpha or something, and has quite a bit of content already, as well as a very committed fan base. If you want to try it out, it's actually free as of making this video. All you need to do is to go in itch.io and download it. If you want to support the devs though, you can also buy it for or donate a custom amount of money.
Isaac and his Isaac.
Binding of Isaac. It's a classic. Most people won't need an introduction for this one. If you lived behind the moon for whatever reason, let me give you a rundown. It's a roguelike where you kill enemies, get items to upgrade your character, and the more often you kill one of the end bosses and complete a run, the more items, characters, bosses, routes and end bosses you unlock. However, be warned. This game features a very shit and Bible focused setting, making it quite questionable at first glance. Because of this, I wasn't ever that interested into playing it, but eventually I did anyway. I've put multiple hours into this game by now and it's a very fun experience. It keeps you playing the game since you unlock a new thing, may it be item or character or whatever, nearly every time you complete a run, and on top of being very addictive, it has great mod support, as well as a few DLCs. That if you want to get into Isaac are in my opinion absolutely necessary. They just add so much content and there is really not much of a reason not to get them. I've put these two games on here together because they're very similar in their gameplay. Both games are team-focused extraction games. You go into a facility or a mansion, get out with the valuables, and if you don't reach your quota, you lose. Both make for a fun time if you play them with friends, even more so if you play them blind without any prior knowledge about enemies or mechanics. But if I had to choose one of these games, I'd go with Repo. It's still very new and the devs seem to be eager to update it frequently, whereas Lethal Company seems to not have gotten an update in the last few months. And there's also the fact that the enemies in Repo are way easier to counter and actually play around compared to Lethal Company. Because in that game, dying is like the point of the joke. It makes for a funny weekend, but kinda fizzles out in the long run. So this is the first game on this list I have not completed or more than 20 to 30 hours in. I mean, you can't really complete Lethal Company or Repo, and Isaac takes a few hundred hours to fully complete, so eh. But even so, this was a fun ride. Everhood is a rhythm RPG, I guess. You follow the story, get into fights and evade the notes getting thrown at you until your enemy tires out. The game is also very focused around music since, I mean, I just called it a rhythm game, so it should be kinda obvious why. And the music is good. Very good actually. I put a lot of these songs into my music folder, so I think it holds up. Let me warn you though, some fights may get kinda weird and experimental, as well as really hard actually. The game might have an in-game option allowing you to adjust the difficulty on the fly, but even then this game gets a bit hard. This one's a really short but fun puzzle game. It's very atmospheric and the focus definitely lies on the story it tells, the world you get to see and the characters you talk to. It also plays around with out-of-the-box puzzles. Let's just say I had to open my game folder for one of them. And why I called it short, it has multiple endings it seems, even though I only played through one of them. As well as having fan-made stuff made for it as well. If you go to the Steam page of One Shot and scroll down, you can actually see One Shot Fading Memory as well as One Shot Aftermath, which seems to be two examples of community DLCs. So in case the game on its own was not enough for you, there's always a community behind it you can count on. Before I tell you anything about this game, you should know that while I'm writing on the script, only the demo is available for this game, so its content at the moment is small. The game itself is a drive around in a truck and deliver stuff from point A to point B type of game, like Euro Truck or SnowRunner I guess. But here you drive in a K-Truck as a minimum wage worker, presumably somewhere in Hokkaido, Japan, or at least the snowy mountain region with Japanese K-Trucks in it. The most interesting part about this one is, in my opinion, the art style, which is very cozy and kind of reminds me of web fishing, as well as whatever may be added to the final game, because let's just say when you freeze to death in this game, the location you wake up in isn't what I would consider normal. Make no mistake, just because this is the last entry on the list doesn't mean it's the worst. In fact, I would say this is one of the best games I've played in a long while. The game itself is a 2D farming and base building game, kind of like Stardew Valley, but with the setting being post-apocalyptic. Aside from planting seeds and hoping they live through the harsh conditions of a post-war era with acid rain and super dry months, you can also fish, mine and engage in combat with the local flora and fauna, which consists of mostly robots and slimy bugs. The game has a nice pixel art aesthetic and I do love the way the world is segmented, not only horizontally since it's a 2D game, but also vertically. It makes its world feel more unique and also pulls the map more together. The game being 2D, instead of making the map feel very elongated, since normally you would have only two directions, actually improves the way the world is designed and how quickly everything is accessible. Speaking of accessibility, the game gives you better movability the more you progress. In the early game you get a double jump as well as a dash later on. That, as well as some jump and run kind of areas you can discover, gives the game a bit of a Celeste feeling. These areas are also the ones where combat happens. The way you fight in this game is with a drone you can upgrade and equip with different types of guns as well as enhancement chips. I may have only played a few hours of this game until now, but this game seems to have a lot of content and stuff you can discover, research, fight and just generally do already. Even though it only just came out last week and still is in its early access phase as I'm writing this script. I really hope the devs gonna make a lot of updates and add a lot of stuff to this game, since I think this might be the game I crack the 100 hours next in, so yeah, I definitely do have high hopes for this one. Also, the night after I initially finished writing the script for this video, they released a roadmap which in my opinion looks good. I look forward to any new potential animals, areas and automation that might come to this game later on.
Honorable mention.
There are also some other games I have mixed feelings on, which might be games that you like more than me. Namely, Pizza Tower, a fast-paced 2D platformer with combo meter and great music. You also have to run back to the start after reaching each level's end, and there are many levels which have their own little gimmick. It has content for only a few hours though, so not a game you play for too long, but still fun if its own saying. Web fishing. It's a fishing game. Collect all the fish and you're done. Very relaxing but also short-lived. Besides that, it's meant to be a chat room so you can play with your friends or join open lobbies. Palworld. An open world survival game, you build your base, capture pals with definitely not spheres or god forbid balls, and fight other pals with either your tamed ones or your fists and guns. I played this way more than I thought I would, but also it's not an actual good game or anything, it's just turn your brain off fun stupid adventure in my opinion. Ultra Kill. A fast-paced action boomer shooter in first person. Not my kind of game, but I see the appeal. And while I haven't played it a lot, I do like the IP more than the actual game here, I feel like. Hopefully you found a good game on this list you didn't know, worth checking out. All of them are on Steam, besides Voices of the Void, which is on itch.io. Also, if you like them, consider following the developers on Twitter, YouTube or Steam. Most of these are still getting regular updates after all. Even Isaac still gets new patches, balance updates or new mechanics entirely every now and then.